The first Matariki public holiday is late June, and while excitement is building for many, some have raised fears about how it will actually be marked. Matariki holds significant cultural and spiritual weight for many Maori, and some fear the occasion could become commercialised or reduced to just another public holiday. Well, I don't know when and where this dreamed-up load of nonsense became a significant cultural and spiritual occasion, which Kamatua, with a bent walking stick who speaks in tongues, came up with this con job, supported by the tellers of fairy tales. We can put a name to one of these purveyors of Maori misrepresentation. He is an astronomer and a Maramataka expert, and his name is Rangi Matamua, who has spent years apparently, yes, he even says decades, campaigning for Matariki, and this teller of tales is brimming with excitement for this holiday. So much so, he is still weaving the story of intrigue, and to me a load of crap. Spent decades? Come on, maybe a few years of refining this fairy tale and the sprinkling of bulldust. Matamua is the chair of a government's Matariki Advisory Committee and is also an advisor for Crown Agency Te Rawhiti as it prepares for Matariki. Now, does that surprise any of you that we have this fellow who has landed two well-paid positions on obscure Maori advisory boards that should be part of the Hobbit? Typically Maori get an advisory committee formed by government, make your story good enough for the dipsticks to believe, and bingo, yes, bingo, one has a paid job for life on the taxpayer. Yet these people include this purveyor of this made-up star-bright, starlight nonsense is so prepared to rip each and every one of us off. Then guess what? This con job has been so well orchestrated, he was also appointed to another well-paying government Maori bull dust position as chair of some vague Maori advisory committee. He is, this fellow, this astronomer, he is so excited that Matariki will be celebrated as a special day for Maori. What absolute crap. The only thing I'm pleased about is that this shifty manipulator of facts should be, in any world of consequence, find himself out of a job being paid by us honest tax-paying individuals. 70 plus years ago, I spent my young, informative years living in the King Country, and I was only one of 6 white kids that attended the district high school. The Maori were certainly quite well versed in their culture. After all, Kapia is the centre of knowledge, and much of the knowledge for Tainui. They understood fishing and even the difficult sea and harbour currents and the dangers. Their elders taught us that certainly taught us not from their experience of being great travellers of the ocean in a canoe, but just common sense and being on the water themselves in that area for years. In all those years, without night-time fishing, never was there ever a mention by these Tainui elders or by my friends' dads about any cluster of stars. We never heard of any of these traditional elders talk to us or tell us stories or even mention the word tamariki. Following the stars as a navigational guide to New Zealand, I bet you don't believe that any more than I. I am sure you know their main navigational aid, this is the Maori's main navigational aid to locate New Zealand, travelling from wherever it is they came from. They can't even tell us their origins, yet they expect us to believe all this other bulldust. Their main navigational aid to New Zealand was to follow the whales. Following the whales, who then those creatures didn't use a cluster of stars, but then and still ride a very positive sea current known as the Tokelau Drift. Following the whales made their journey, this is their Maori journey by canoe, that if ever they did make such a journey, a guarantee of hitting land sooner or later. It's a shame the drift didn't head more west. If it had, or if it did, the Australian Aboriginals would be the ones having to listen to all this constant nonsense. These manipulative Maori have successfully conned the weak-willed idiots amongst us to let this group of Maori being paid by an unsuspecting fools to achieve a holiday named Tamariki Day. A day dreamed up by Maori, a day dreamed up for Maori, including the plastic Maori that us employers must cover this holiday at our expense. But this group of Maori is so confident and so damn arrogant and now wanting assurances that this day of bull dust will not become commercialised or just become another holiday. I tell you what, you have to give it to them. They certainly know how to screw up holidays to suit their ambitions, Waitangi Day for example. Now with this confidence and bull dust that they're so good at, they're going to tell you, yes, you and I, how we should behave on this made-up day of Maori bull dust, this day which they call, or this group of con artists call, Matariki Day. These Maori can really be so arrogant, they're now going to tell you and I how we should celebrate this day based on the fertile mind of a teller of fairy tales. They're full of cheek and they're full of crap. I'm going to put this bull dust Maori Day in my file as Subaru Day. You know, damn it all, the car manufacturer's been using that cluster of stars as their emblem long before this group of Maori con artists ever knew that such a group of stars even existed. Well folks, happy Subaru Day just to all of you as you enjoy this day off, made possible and reluctantly sponsored by all the non-Maori tax-paying employers of the silly little land.